Happy Father's Day, everybody, and welcome to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This. I'm Juliet, the daughter.
And I'm Kevin, the dad.
And this week, because it was Father's Day, this is the second time this has happened. Previously, it was Dad's birthday and it fell on a podcast recording. And today, Father's Day falls on a podcast recording. So that means Dad got to pick the album this week. So, Dad, what album are we talking about and what do we need to know?
We will be talking about the album Jane Fontana. And I chose this album because I knew I wouldn't have to do a lot of background research as there's not a lot available about her online, not even a Wikipedia page. Her website, janefontana.com, doesn't have any standard biography, and it looks like the last time it was updated was 2021. She does have a Facebook account, and her music's available on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, and whatever other platforms there are. So far, Jane has put out one full-length album, 2 EPs, and a single. She's also composed a lot of music for movies and TV. Her website lists over 130 programs, such as Lonely Planet, America's Got Talent, Ace of Cakes, and a ton of other cable shows that I've never heard of. As for how I discovered Jane's music, Pandora, which Jackie and I used to listen to during our sign-making days at Whole Foods until Bezos came along and bought the company. And the first thing he did was he got rid of sign-making. So thanks for nothing, Jeff. I'm retired, by the way. So
He doesn't care. Yeah. He can spill all the tea he wants.
Yep. Anyway, I heard 12 O'Clock Forever, and that was enough to make me give her album a shot. And I found it on CDR at Amazon.
What's that?
It's a recordable CD. Like, I think she made them herself. They weren't released through like a major or even an indie label.
Okay.
And the song titles are just listed on the booklet. There's nothing on the back except a picture of her. Also, per Amazon, Jane Fontana came out in 2006, the album, not the woman.
Yeah.
And was available for sale on Amazon February 12, 2007, Lincoln's birthday. I think I might have bought this in 2016, maybe. That seems about right. So let's just jump right into it.
Oh, yes, let's. First track, Wasted on You. Okay, I could not find any lyrics for any of these songs on Google, so...
Me neither. I did a lot of searching and I thought, I'm just going to have to listen really closely.
Yep, I just listened really hard. That opening was disorienting in a good way as the music rushed back and forth between my ears. And from that point on, I was experiencing the same sort of sensory, not overload, but the same sensory experience that you get when going to a club or a party where everyone has to raise their voices to talk over the loud music and ambiance. Definitely a breakup song, and I heard some stuff about stickiness and taste, which doesn't take a genius to figure out what she's talking about. And then the song ends abruptly, like someone just picked up the needle off the record and the music cuts off, as if she's saying, I've said my piece about this guy, and now that the dancing's over, it's time to move on. Party's over, people. You can go home. An opening track that's disorienting in a good way.
Yeah, it seems like she met someone who she thought was her drug of choice, but she got some
Bad stuff.
Yeah, she sings about how her cheeks against grimy tile, she's got a cotton mouth, stinging eyes, a spinning room, and a ringing head. And so she's wasted on this person in a drug sense, but I also think of, I can't believe I wasted my time on you. And at one point, her voice is sampled saying both more and more and more of it and way too much of this. It's kind of like that person you know is bad for you, but you just can't resist. And as always, you pay for it. Yeah, it's definitely high energy. I guess like high energy EDM.
Electronic dance music?
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
I think. Yep. And very, very catchy. Kind of, addictive, one could say.
Next track, 12 O'Clock Forever. Remember when we covered this track in our episode 20 Songs for 2020, back when we thought everything would be fine?
Oh, wow, you got a better memory than I do.
Oh, how little we knew. The first time around when we discussed the song, I was focusing more on the way this song was mixed and arranged, the distorted saxophone, how Jane sounds like she's waking up from a druggy haze, the echo of the drums. And I agree with what I wrote before. The studio is really the star here. What I paid attention to now was how you said the 12 O'Clock Forever is the blinking of a VCR clock. And I still love how she talks about how she could be a philosopher, but she might not like the answers she finds. I wasn't as blown away by the sound this time, but it's because I knew what to expect. And again, we have another abrupt ending. The druggy haze is over, time to wake back up and face reality. I'd say I enjoyed this track a bit more the second time around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it seems like Jane's life's just going by, days just disappear. She's got a lot to do, but it's no better than lying here. And she knows she needs to change her calendar, but it's too dark and she can't see. And yeah, the only latest from her VCR is just blinking 12 o'clock, like forever, because she can't even be bothered to get up and change that. And she says, even when she's gone, it'll be 12 o'clock forever. And I thought, is this, the end of it all? Um, and yeah, she says about, becoming a great philosopher, but if only she knew what the questions were. And it seems like she's having a hard time just trying to get life started, like just trying to find inspiration in something.
To get out of bed, yeah.
Anything. But there's always an excuse not to do something. And I don't know. I guess there are people like that who it's, I got a million things to do, but nah, I can't decide which one, so I'm not going to do anything.
I can't find the motivation to do any of them.
Yeah, and the music kind of has like a dreamlike quality to it, and kind of like also like a dragginess to it, like kind of like a haze, I suppose. Even the sampled surf guitar sounds lazy, but the music holds all together. And this is the first song I heard, and it's my favorite. And the funny thing is, it's like Jane is so the opposite of this song, because she's just like cranking out so much music for TV and for movies.
Next track, F You Up. Okay, we can't say the full title of this song on YouTube, so we'll just abbreviate the first word of the title to the first letter, and you can fill in the blank. We're all adults.
Rhymes with duck.
I heard that moan in the opening and immediately turned the volume down so my roommate didn't get the wrong idea about what I was blasting in my room. But if that's the mood she's trying to establish, she does a good job. And that laugh is a very I've got you where I want you laugh. This is not sex at its most beautiful and intimate, it's sex at its scariest. When people throw themselves into dangerous hookups to escape reality and to feel something, anything, not to feel so numb all the time. This isn't love, this isn't even lust. This is a drug-induced haze that's not even euphoric. It's giving your body to be used without care. Does that mean I object to this song morally? No, not at all. Sex like that exists, and I think Jane is highlighting how dark and harmful it can be. It's not being glamorized, it's being shown in all its darkness. It's a warning, and it works really well. And if you don't walk away from this song disturbed, then you are into some stuff, and or I need to call the police.
This is mostly instrumental, and it's like Jane's voice is sampled throughout the whole thing with there's only a few phrases to it. And yeah, she's emitting a intimate moan and then laughing, saying, this is gonna f you up, and asking, you want to go down? Well, do you? Yeah, there's probably definitely a safety word involved in here somewhere.
I hope to God there is.
But I don't think anyone's going to find it. This is your mom's least favorite song on the album.
I wonder why.
And yeah, I did have her listen to the whole thing, and she said she wanted to go through my collection and learn about me. And we're still married.
She learned some stuff, huh?
She learned some stuff, yes.
Next track, Not Quite Coming In. Jane feels like she's connecting with someone, but she feels like she's caught between two radio stations. There's a signal, but it's not quite coming in. It keeps flitting in and out. She can barely hear them, barely see them. And just when it seems like we're making progress, the song abruptly ends, which works really well. I like how they use audio sound bites from the radio and use the studio to switch the static playing from one ear to the other. All the songs so far use musical trippiness to further the stories/themes, and it works really well. Yeah,
the tuning in to get a clear signal or volume or picture is, a metaphor for trying to connect with someone. Jane wants them louder, closer. She can hardly feel them. She wants to, but they're not quite coming in. Either that or all she's really trying to do is get a radio station in her car. You never know. Good catchy song with appropriate tuning effects in the background.
Next track, Tranquilizer. You want to scare the crap out of kids with the DARE program? Play this song. What works really well are two things, other than the horrifying lyrics about a scalp being peeled off. That's kind of obvious. But first are those distorted string instruments, I think viola and cello. They create an ominous mood. Second is how Jane sings I Want to Sleep Through This. Her voice is just on that precipice of crying out for help while trying not to scream, and yet coming pretty darn close to losing it. Then to cap it off, that scream builds and another abrupt ending. I feel like this song could be used in Black Mirror. It's horrifying in the best way.
Yeah, she's definitely going through some nightmare unpleasantness. And I thought it was she's being told to peel off a scab and watch it bleed. But scalp, I could definitely... Either way, it's unpleasant. And, you know, she's also being told, don't look away and lie still. And her response to all this is, I want to sleep through this, but she can't, and things get worse. And she just keeps pleading, I want to sleep through this. No trank for her.
Nope.
No, not at all. And for a song called Tranquilizer, it's anything but. It's very in-your-face high energy, which is probably mirroring what she's going through and just waiting for, just put me to sleep, just let me sleep.
Either that or she got a bad tranquilizer.
Is there such a thing?
Maybe. Maybe somebody mixed the wrong thing.
It could be.
Next track, Anymore. The opening feels like the emo sibling of John Mayer's Waiting on the World to Change. The lyric that hits way too hard is, I gotta get to work so my dream will have to go on without me. Ouch. This song sparked an existential crisis and I'm only 26. Okay, that's hyperbole, but this song takes the question of what's the point and cuts to the core. The way she sings, sounding emotionally checked out, it's a warning as to the kind of person I don't want to become. But as an actor, I wish I could act this out like a monologue. The lyrics give so much meat to the song's bones. Still, I had to go listen to the Muppets after this, especially with that musical mental downward spiral at the end. By God, that was intense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like, you know, she's just trying to get through the daily grind. She has to get to work, so she has to let her dreams go on without her. And she feels her life story isn't about her. She's stuck in traffic, trapped in a perpetual rerun, which kind of reminded me of Groundhog Day, where people just get in the ruts and you're getting up and you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and it doesn't change. All the roads she needs to take are blocked, and what she wouldn't give to see a little horizon instead of the back of the head of the driver in the car in front of her. And she keeps asking, is there any more, any left for me? Jane, you are not alone. A lot of people feel like that.
Next.
And after the manic energy of Tranquilizer, Anymore seems almost calm. Almost.
Well, the next track is definitely calmer. Another Moon. My first note after reading the title, is this going to be nice or sad? The opening sounded like a lo-fi hip-hop remix for studying/sleep in a good way. And I also mean this next part in a good way. These lyrics would make a good kid's picture book. It's a more adult version of Sesame Street's I Don't Want to Live on the Moon, which if you say doesn't make you cry, you're lying. And while this is a more adult song than a Sesame Street lullaby, there's still an innocence to it. Someone allowing themselves to hope and dream just for one moment. Hoping for a moment of happiness now that their loved one has since left them or passed on. Although what kind of suckered me out was that crackle that sounded like someone ripping a bong, but it does settle into the crackle of vinyl, a good reprieve from the last several tracks.
Yeah, so Jane wants another moon. When one is full, the other would be new, and each would wax and wane a different way each night. And, quote, if there was another moon, I'd be happy just to stare, 'cause I'd have a moon to look at since I can't look now at the moon that just reminds me of you, unquote. And I think it would wreak havoc on the tides, though, having two moons.
I agree.
But that's just me. Obviously, this is your mom's favorite song, and she nailed it because she said she thinks it would make a great lullaby. And it does have that quality to it with the music. And I kept trying to figure out what is making that sound. And I guess it's like some sort of processed piano.
Oh, okay.
That was the only thing I could think of. But yeah, definitely make a great kid's book. So Jane, if you're out there, you got a book on your hands.
Next track, Close Your Eyes and Drive. My first note, please don't do this. First there was the static, and then that guitar solo came barging in a way that'll wake you up if you weren't already. So have fun with that, because Distorted Jane is back with a vengeance. At first, Jane sounds like what we Portuguese call sentimentuge, but that was a trick, and she's back to being wonderfully horrifying. And then it hit me. Her singing voice is American Kate Bush, but less warbly.
I can definitely hear that.
More rocky than ethereal. But then we hear noises that sound like a car that doesn't really work, like it's stalling or something hits something else. And then Jane pops over your shoulder like a villain in a horror movie with her sing-songy voice.
Okay, PSA first off, do not close your eyes while driving.
Please no.
Because that only works on TV and in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And you always get those other scenes where, like, people are driving, but they're also looking at the passenger next to them, and they're looking more at that passenger, and you're wondering, why haven't they crashed?
As Al would say, in my line of work, sweetheart, that's what we call an organ donor.
Yeah, so Jane tells us there's another her beneath her skin trying to get out, or maybe trying to get in. But this second self never really lets go. And I think that the advice, close your eyes and drive, might be Jane telling herself just to trust her instinct to let herself go, just to see what happens, because, what could possibly go wrong? Well, everything, or maybe nothing. And bonus, this is a great late night driving song. I mean,
but don't close your eyes.
Yeah, don't close your eyes. Just keep them open.
Next track, Superhero. Another opening that almost makes your heart stop. It sounds like a song that would have been used in that animated version, The Batman, that you liked, that ran for 5 seasons on Kids WB that you used to watch on Netflix. The way that Jane sang Supergirl made me physically uncomfortable. This sounds like the superhero song for a lady superhero getting back at the villain who triggered her origin story, like a Jessica Jones situation. And now the villain is about to get the shit kicked out of him. But then the song gets to you and you jam along as she starts to feel empowered. The fact that there's a lady superhero franchise that hasn't used this song yet is a massive disservice. Great song. And the way those percussive notes sound like the villain being beat up are the icing on the cake.
Yeah, so Jane just has contempt for a guy. I think it was like she has contempt for a guy who seems obsessed with a superhero.
Yeah.
Like maybe...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Like Wonder Woman or Supergirl maybe, but she doesn't say... says, break her heart, she won't even break a sweat. And you can't be enough because she's a superhero. You can't keep it up because she's a superhero.
Nah.
And would a superhero really be involved with a mere mortal? Yeah, you got Superman and Lois Lane, but really, I think it should just be always him and Wonder Woman.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I sent you that Kill Bill clip where he does the monologue about Superman.
I didn't watch it, I'm sorry. I don't think I got it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, back to Jane. She closes the song with the most devastating nya-nyas ever, directed at that guy, like he will never, ever, ever have a shot at Power Girl. Like never. That Jane, such a mean girl.
Next track, Head. My first note, which one? The answer to that question is both, and it shows how talented Jane is as a songwriter, because she starts out each lyric with an innuendo, but then she flips that innuendo on its head by asking deep philosophical questions or messing with your psyche. It makes you giggle with delight at her turns of phrase. She shows off her writing prowess very well.
Oh yeah, you think it's about sex, but it's all in your head. Or maybe it's just mine, but since you kind of said what I was going to go into, maybe not. Yeah, she just sets up these lines in a way that you think, oh, baby. And then she finishes her thought, and it's like, gotcha. Like, let me run my tongue up inside of what you say.
Yep.
Let me make it hard to disguise the way you feel. Let me put my hand right between the way you hurt, and let me swallow down every lie you told. Musically, I think it's kind of like electronic grunge, and who even knew we wanted that? If this song had come out in the 90s, it would have been huge.
Final track, Smells Like You. This song goes from creepily titillating to off-putting very quick. Jane hooks up with a guy who I assume is the voice we hear in the song, who says over and over, you see, it's this way. He sounds like the guy from the Fitness Gram Pacer test. Anyway, after she hooks up with him, she goes to the bar where they meet and sees another woman sitting in his chair. And she realizes this other woman also smells like the guy that she just slept with. Yuck. Girl, get out of there now. Creepy but on brand for her album.
Yeah, that pretty much was what I was going to say. And I think the guy that who keeps saying, you see, it's this way throughout the song, it's like he's been caught. And this is just a lame intro to some lame excuse that he's going to try to make to Jane, and it's just going to come off so lame.
Is that all you have for this song?
And that's all I have for this song, because you pretty much said everything I was going to say.
All right, well, this is going to be a short episode, but let's wrap it up with some final thoughts, shall we?
Yes, let's.
Overall, all, Jane Fontana is very talented at what she does. She creates ambient music that wouldn't be out of place in a horror movie in the best way. And the stories that she wants to tell, she does so with great lyric writing. However, that doesn't mean that this album is for me. It's not music I typically listen to, and again, at one point I had to meditate and listen to the Muppets to calm down for a bit. I do like 2 of her tracks, which I have saved to Spotify, but other than that, I wouldn't actively seek this album out. However, if horror ambient music is for you with good lyrics, then go check this album out.
As for me, I love this album because it's just so different from the bulk of my music collection. She definitely has her own sound, and 12 O'Clock Forever and Superhero are the absolutely must-listen-to tracks if you can get your hands on the whole album, which you can because it's out there on YouTube, so there you go.
All right, well, as always, thank you for listening to the latest album. My dad listens to this. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz, because remember, the more you interact with the video, the greater chance we have of appearing on the YouTube homepage. If you follow me on social media, I post the episodes there. If you're friends with my dad, tell him what you want to listen to, and he'll send it right to your inbox. As always, thank you for listening to the latest album. My dad listens to this. We'll be back next time with another album to pick and gripe about. Dad, anything you want to say before we sign off?
You know, I could live with 12 O'Clock Forever if it was noontime 12 o'clock, because then it'd always be lunchtime.
Luncheon.